inferences from data. So, yung una, it is to describe the quantitative information. Yung pangalawa is to draw conclusion mula doon sa data. Usually, this means coming to conclusions such as estimates, generalization, decision, or predictions about a population of data describing a sample. So that is under a statistical procedure and the general classification. We have the frequency and percentage distribution. Frequency distribution, itatali mo yung number of times, yung each score occurs in a group of scores. So formally, a way of presenting data that shows the number of cases having each of the attributes of a particular variable. So parang ganito, kapag ang gusto mong i-study ay tao sa isang issue, agree, disagree, strongly agree, and then disagree, and then strongly disagree. So, di ba, meron ka ngayong itatali. So, meron kang frequency distribution. Itatali mo ilan ang nag-agree, ilan ang apat yan, it could be 4, or merong neutral sa gitna, pwede rin, no? yung hindi niya alam kung siya or disagree siya. Minsan may mga ganyang issue, no, sa questionnaire mo. So yung isa ay strongly agree, yung isa agree, yung isa ay neutral, hindi yung isa disagree, yung isa strongly disagree. Okay, so the frequency distribution, tinatali mo ilan lahat yung pumili ng number 1, number 2 choice, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So, para kunin mo, no, to present your data kung ano nga ang lalabas sa study mo according to that certain issue. So, pangalawa, percentage frequency distribution. So, a frequency distribution that shows the percentage, hindi yung number. No, hindi yung kung 100 respondents, hindi number ang ilalagay mo na 50 ang nag-agree, 30 ang nag-disagree, 20 ang hindi, So, pwede rin ang presentation mo, percentage frequency distribution. So, yung 50 out of 100, that's 50%. So, that means for data, 50% nag-respond ng ganito. So, instead na kukunin mo ay yung number of responses, ang kinukuha mo ay percentage. Alam mo na, that is simply kung ilan ang respondent divided by the total respondent multiplied by 100, and that is percentage, no? So, pwedeng ganyan ang presentation ng yung data. Sumunod is measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency, that is measures that locate the center of a distribution of measurement. Number 1, arithmetic mean. The sum of scores or measurement divided by the number of measurement in a set. Alam naman natin lahat yan, no? Pag sinabing arithmetic mean. So that is actually another term, average. No? So next, median. Median is the middle set of rank scores or measurements, the point that divides a distribution into two equal halves. So pag sinabing median, that would be at the middle theta, no? Yung nasa gitna. Ay di-divide mo equal, yung positive ang response, saka yung negative ang response. Okay, number 3 is mode. So, open in the set. So, pwede rin by mode ang yung presentation, no? Ng measures of central tendency. So, meron tayong tinatawag na measures of variability. So, measures of variability ay statistics showing the amount of variation for or values of a variable. So when the dispersion is large, the scores or values are widely scattered. When it is small, they are tightly clustered. Okay. It could be range, the difference between the largest and the smallest measurements. For example, positive 10 to negative 10, that's a range, no? O kaya variance, mean or deviation from the mean score, so divided by the number of scores. And the other one is standard deviation, the square root of the variance. So the mean of the sum of the square deviations from the mean score divided by the number. So that's a formula. Now, i-convert mo lang into a formula. The measures of variability, ang pinakamadali dyan is yung ating range, no? The smallest number to the highest number. So that would be the range of the measurement. So pangalawa ay pangapat, the measures of relationship. So ano yung measures of relationship? So measures of relationship or correlation is to show the extent to which two or more variables are related to one another, or the relationship or the correlation. So correlation coefficient statistic that indicates the extent or degree of relationship between or among variables. A positive value depicts a direct, while a negative value suggests an relationship. So we are just familiarizing ourselves. Medyo nang hirap pang i-contain to ourselves lahat. No? Pinipresent ko lang yung mga terms. Alam ko medyo mahirap pang ma-digest sa inyo ngayon. Unless there is an actual activity. So later on in the actual activity, you will be rated first. So ngayon medyo arang possible na half lang medyo naiintindihan o kaya yung iba. Lalo na ngayon yung mga chapter 4, 5 medyo nasa lower part tayo o nasa higher part. I'm just presenting these terms. Later on in the actual study, in the actual research, you'll be able to understand it deeper. No? So meron tayong levels of measurement. So ano ba yung levels of measurement? A term used to describe measurement scales in terms of how much information they convey about the differences among values. The higher the level, the more information. So meron tayong dalawa saka ordinal. No? So involves categorizing cases according to the presence or absence of some attribute. Ang ordinal categorizes and ranks cases on some variable. The differences between ranks need not to be equal or need not be equal. So we have there medyo ano sa inyo, parang kahit i-discuss ko nang i-discuss ay we could not digest it better as of the moment. So since this would be on a higher level, research 1 ba kayo o research lang? Hindi ko maalala yung inyong subject description. Research lang, that means the whole thing, or this is just part 1 of your research? Research 1, ang engineering research nyo. Can somebody answer me kung yung subject code nyo, our subject name is engineering research 1 or engineering research?
Lang yung nakalagay, ma'am eh.
Okay. So talagang maaabot tayo dito kapag ka engineering research. That means isang subject lang to, walang kasunod, no? So I will just, for a while, I'll be giving you first ito, and I want you to study first or read it first by yourself, and then later on, madadaanan natin kasi talagang kahit na ibigay ko yung mga term today, at ito naman ay self-explained, no? May mga explanation, unless being used, no? para maintindihan. So I will just be giving you muna this items, mga variables and types, and then types of tests. The type of test based on number of samples, meron tayong tinatawag na one sample test, procedures used to test statistics for only one sample, two sample test, two samples, case sample refers to more than two samples. So later on, you'll understand kung anong ibig sabihin yan. Medyo, lang ngayon, no? Yung mga terms ay medyo mas maano muna natin. I think I need to go back sa basic natin pagdating sa ipo-forward ko lang yan sa inyo and then okay, a little bit discussion on okay, a little bit discussion on method of research and procedures on the chapter 3. This one, no, a simple or a little one explanation. So generally, the research design. So explain in this chapter among those topics last time. So among these topics included in the research design, which need to be given some kind of explanation. Una, yung method of research being used na discuss natin last time, the method of collecting data and development of the research instrument. So it would be katulad nung nakaraan na pwede bang by interview yan, by questionnaire, and then the sampling of design. So yung method of research use, the method of research use, whether historical, nabanggit natin to na nakaraan, no? So nabigay ko na to sa inyo doon sa ating lecture 2 na PDF. So descriptive or experimental should be explained briefly. Part of the method, its appropriateness to the study and some of its advantages should be given attention, should be well discussed. Ito ay bakit yun ang pinili mo, kailangan mo yun ma-discuss kung bakit experimental ang type of method mo. So you need to explain that. So the descriptive method of research was used in the study. Descriptive method of research is a fact-finding study, interpretation of the findings. So it describes what is. It describes with emphasis what actually exists, such as current conditions, practices, situations, or any phenomena. So the other method of research can be referred on, no, so sa nauna nating mga discussions. So ito din yon, the method of collecting data and development of research instrument. The method of collecting data and development of the instrument for gathering data must also be explained. So katulad ng sinasabi ko kanina, there's a different measures na gagamitin, and there's also level of it, no? So the instrument used to collect data this was used because it gathers data fast. Yan, kung questionnaire ang ginamit mo na instrument, you need to explain bakit mo ginamit yung questionnaire. O kaya bakit ka gagamit ng experimental. So you need to explain that. Okay, so yung sampling of data, no? if starts in any research project, the proportion of the population to be used must have been determined already and the compilation must have been finished. So what the researcher has to do here is to write about the complete procedure he used in determining his sample. The PowerPoint or the PDF that I have given you, meron tayo doong computation na formula, right? Pinakita ko na yun nung nakaraan and you just go back on that. So yung ating chapter 4 at saka yung chapter 3 is the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. So ang chapter 5 natin, the summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations. Ang lalabas dito, the results of findings on data collected and analyzed. So una, result of descriptive analysis. So pangalawa, results of inferential analysis. Yan din yung binabanggit ko kanina. And last, analysis. So in our qualitative and quantitative data, it uses the purpose statement as the connecting link between among each chapters. And it is under chapter 4. Uses a qualitative range between 25 to 35 pages, and the quantitative is typically shorter range of 15 to 25 pages because the result of a statistical test rather than narratives. So no literature discussion should be made. Wala na kasi i-discuss mo na ang literature sa chapter 2. No, yung diniscuss natin noong nakaraan na review of literature. Saka yung ating kinuha mula sa mga international na mga review natin. So meron tayong tinatawag na qualitative na presentation of data. So in a qualitative presentation of data, it presents the descriptive data explaining the age, the gender, or relevant related information on the population. Pangalawa, summarize the demographics of the sample and present in table format after the narration. And the other one is, otherwise the table is included as an appendix and referred to in the narrative of chapter 4 in a format na magagamit natin. So chapter 4, presentation and analysis, no? Yung chapter 3, dinescribe mo kung ano. Yung chapter 1, nandun lahat ang statement of the problem, nandun lahat yun, no? Diniscuss natin nakaraan. Chapter 2, nandun lahat ang review of literature. Chapter 3, nandun yung method of research. I-discuss mo at saka bibigyan mo ng sample design kung bakit yun ang gagawin mo. Pagdating na ng chapter 4, ipipresent mo na yung ginawa mo. So, and then i-analyze mo, tapos i-interpret mo. So, kung experimental yan, possible ang presentation mo, naka-table. No? At makikita natin pagdating sa analysis, so ipapakita mo dyan kung bakit lalabas dyan pati formula ng analysis is the interpretation of data. Ngayon, kung yun ay descriptive, so you need to explain itong mga bagay na to. Magkaroon ka ng explanation ng mga related information ng population na ginamit mo. Kung experimental yan, nakatabulate yung mga data, result of the experiment. No? So, tapos, may sariling formula, no? Ang descriptive. Yun yung kaninang dinidiscuss ko. Maaring naka-range, naka-variation, naka-modal, and so on. Pero pagdating sa experimental, depende kung ano yung nilalaman ng experiment mo para ipakita mo yung formula na ginagamit mo base doon sa result. Mathematical yun. Kaya yung formula natin related kung anong klase yung kinukuha. For example, compressive strength of a certain concrete lecture. So may formula yon, o kaya meron yung standard references na pwede mong gamitin to compare at para ma-interpret mo yung data mo. So in data, identify the process by which data were gathered and recorded. Describe the systems for keeping track of data and emerging understanding, research, logs, reflective journals, cataloging systems. No? So, pagdating naman sa organization, so lalabas, you need to organizing titles and subtitles, research questions and major themes. And then, magkakaroon ka na ng findings. Ano ba yung findings mo? So, patterns, relationships, themes are described as findings and supported by the data, and all salient data must be accounted for in the findings. Okay, so, and findings are presented in a manner that address the research question. Babalik yan kung question mo, yung statement of the problem. So, ang presentation mo, kung meron kang main statement or that would relate kung bakit yan ang title mo, and on that under statement mo ay magkakaroon ka ng meron ka mga specific na question, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nakarelate yan kung ano yung main na objective. Ngayon, sa presentation ng data, yung question number 1 na nakalagay 1, yun naman ang ipipresent mo sa data and interpretation mo dun sa chapter 4. Kung ano yung statement mo ng objective mo na nandun sa chapter 1 na number 2, dapat pag nag-present ka ng data sa chapter 4, yun. Yun yung gino-goal ng presentation mo ngayon, kung ano yung nakarelate sa chapter 1. So, ganun din sa number 3, and then sa number 4. Lahat yan, sasagutin mo. Pagdating sa chapter 4, nandiyan ang presentation ng data mo, nandiyan ang analysis, nandiyan ang interpretation. Yan na yung sumasagot dun sa mga question na nakasulat mo at inuna mong nilagay dun sa chapter 1, na nagli-lead sa'yo para doon sa objective ng research mo. Okay? Relating to one another yan. So, depende yan kung paano. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na summarize. Kailangan summarize by adding examples, tables, and code names. Then, under each theme, the researchers describe the pattern and add counter percentages in a narrative format kung narrative ang kailangan. So, kung pwede namang tabulate, then baba niyan, meron niyang interpretation. Hindi pwedeng numbers lang nilagay mo tapos wala kang interpretation of the data sa ilalim. You need to interpret dahil hindi lahat na magbabasa marunong hindi sa numbers. The presentation of numbers. So meron kang interpretation of data. So explain the pattern, being careful to code the participant names such as RI, respondent 1 or W1. Kung experiment mo, meron ka nalagay na experiment 1, E1, experiment 2, E2. So, mga ganyan lang naman yan. So, lahat. Tapos, i-describe mo lang yung terminologies mo doon sa definition of terms. Okay? So, ilalagay mo yan doon. And then, kapag pumunta ka ng chapter 5, ang chapter 5 kasi na summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations. No? So, ang method of research mo nasa chapter 3. Nakita mo anong gagamitin mo para mag-research. Pagdating sa chapter 4, yun na yung result ng ginawa mo sa method of research. So, kung yan ay nagkaroon ka lamang ng mga questionnaires, So nakapresent yan. Kung mayroong questionnaires, question number 1, ilan ang sumagot ng 1, ilan ang sumagot ng 2, experiment naman yan, naka-table ka na, table 1, at yung una mong kinuha mo yung, for example, kinuha mo yung properties ng material na ginamit mo, table 2, kinuha mo na yung result ng experiment mo, tapos meron ka na ngayong pinipresent na interpretation base sa question. Pagdating sa number 5, isa-summarize mo na yung finding mo. Lalabas na ang conclusion mo at saka recommendation. Ganun ulit yon. Kung ano yung nasa problem 1 mo sa chapter 1, pag nag-summarize ka ng findings, dapat nakarelate din doon yung findings mo. Hindi ka pwedeng tatakbo kung saan kasi yun talaga ang objective ng research. So doon ka lang pupunta mo. So pagdating sa chapter 4, number 1, sinagot mo interpretation of data. Pagdating sa chapter 5, yung number 1 na yon, ibibigyan mo naman ng summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations. No? So, kung halimbawang maganda at positive naman ang yung result, naging negative, just conclude. And then, kung kailangan ng further study, then recommend. Kung pwede nang gamitin yung research mo, then recommend. So, yan lang naman pagdating sa chapter 5. Sa pagdating sa chapter 5, yan ang pinakabuod ng ginawa mong research. So, yan na lalabas na buod mo. So, walang matatakot na yung kanyang gustong i-prove pagdating sa class. Eh, nilagay mo sa conclusion na hindi, halimbawa, ang nilagay mo ay kapag nagdagdag ka ng certain material, tataas ang strength ng konkreto. Tapos lumabas sa experiment mo, hindi tumaas. E dilagyan mo sa conclusion na hindi possible na gamitin dahil lalagyan mo lang ng summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations. Positive man o negative man, lumabas, lagi mo lamang lalagyan anong conclusion mo, and then afterwards, ano ang recommendation. Okay? So, as of now, that's a summary of our, so brief ng binabasa. So, bibigay ko na lang ito sa inyo, and then, you will ask, at sa susunod ay pwede nating sagutin, ay sa babasahin ko lang ito sa basahin ko yun, no? So that's the idea of the research natin, no? Chapter 1, nakalagay naman yung items alam mo ilagay. Chapter 2, literatures at saka ng local and even international. Chapter 3, kailangan kang mag-decide what is the method that you are going to use. And chapter 4, then proceed. Para magkaroon ka na ng collection of data and the interpretation of the data, proceed with the method of research na pinili mo. At chapter 5, magkaroon ka na ng summary, no? We will end this discussion today on that, and we will have siguro mga few discussions na lang, and then we will go na to our, doon tayo nagkakaroon na ng activity. Para yung ating application sa binabasa natin ay doon natin mai-apply. Conclusion, so we have summary and conclusion, summary the major patterns or being discovered, and then conclusion, no new information or analysis should be included. Hindi yung must go. Dapat kung saan ka lang nagsimula sa chapter 1, yun ang pinaka-importante hanggang matapos ka. Yun lang din that's the importance of our research. No? Okay, so yan muna. And I will just be sending you again yung ating brief na discussion ngayon. And hope to see you again on Thursday, no? Hindi pa naman siguro
Hindi pa po. Tagal pa po.
Okay,
Tagal
so
pa ma'am, tagal pa ma'am.
matagal pa? Okay, so pag-uusapan na natin, ipa-finalize ko sa Thursday kung mag-groupings tayo ng research o mag-individual tayo. Okay, na may groupings na tayo na nasa akin.
Yes ma'am.
Okay, so we will discuss next meeting na. Ibibigay ko lang tong additional information para sa inyo, sa inyong mababasa about that. Pero like, basa tayo ng basa kung walang application, nahihirapan din tayong i-digest. Napupuno lang sa inyo lahat. The most important thing, chapter 1, 2, and 3, and then chapter 4 and 5 are dahil i-discuss lang naman yung gagawin natin dito. Okay? So, that's all for today. Paturn on ng camera and make sure for your attendance.
Ma'am, good afternoon po.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon po. Ma'am, may tanong po sana ako.
Sige, ano yun?
Apo. Din po dun sa sampling po.
Saan? Sa sampling?
Apo, ma'am. Since yung ano po, ang ask ko po, since it is said na different approach po yung sa sampling po. I-determine po natin yung sampling. Depende po sa lalabas na research natin if it is descriptive or if it is experimental. Nakita ko po kasi na iba po yung, di ba po iba rin po yung pattern po dun sa descriptive. So paano po yung when it comes to experimental?
Paano ko?
Ano po yung mga ilalagay po sa sampling when it comes to experimental? For example po, yung study po na napili ko is about flood control device. So,
Flood control
device. For example lang po. So, ano po ba yung pwede po maging sampling po doon if ever po?
Gagawa ka ng model device.
Opo. So, ano po yung magiging sampling po doon, ma'am?
Ang lalabas sa'yo ay yung sample ng model device mo.
So, ibig sabihin po, hindi po siya tulad na, kunyari po, di ba po sa descriptive po yung yung evidence po.
Oo, iba yun doon. Kasi population ang pinag-uusapan doon.
Opo.
Pagdating sa experimental, kung halimbawa yung klase ng study mo ay you will sa certain device, ang magiging output mo diyan. Magkakaroon ka ng sample nung iyong device na yon.
Opo.
Kasi ang flood control, syempre sa malawak na area mo yan ilalagay, no? So pagdating dito, gagawa ka ng isang miniature of what you are trying to do.
So same lang din po 'yun. Kunyari po meron po tayong additive sa isang konkreto po, ganun. Same, hindi na po yung respondents po yung hahanapin natin.
Hindi.
Something.
Kapag experimental, hindi. Halimbawa, you would like to study ano ang magiging increase in strength ng concrete mo kapag naglagay ka ng additive. So, ang sample mo doon mismo yung material, yung minix mo, and then kung ano yung increase niya. That would be the sample ng iyong study.
Thank you po, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so kung wala na tanong ay turn on your camera and smile in a count of 3. 1, 2. Wala mo nang aalis. May nawawala lagi sa picture kapag nawawala sa inyong section ba yung nakaraan, nawawala sila. Pag may umaalis, nababago yung aking nababago yung setup ng gallery. Okay, next galleries. Okay, turn on your cameras. 1, next gallery. Madami naka-turn off ng camera. 1, 2, 3, smile. Oh, last na pala yon. Okay, so last na pala yon. Okay na. Okay, class. God bless everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you, ma'am.
God bless po.
Thank you po.
Bye.
May